You're listening to the Paul Hutchings Podcast, brought to you by paulhutchings.net, teaching you to be free through principle-centered lessons on personal development, online marketing, and financial literacy. Hey, what's going on, friends and fellow Freedom Crusaders? You're on the Paul Hutchings Podcast, and today we have an amazing guest. I'm so excited about the content that you're going to be having access to today. So let me get straight to the point. I want to do a quick intro, and then we'll bring our guest out. Today, I have the opportunity to interview Mr. Justin Clark, who is the creator of Micro Profit System and also the founder of IcoinPro. Justin is well known as an entrepreneur and someone who has made a name for himself in online marketing, business development, network marketing, and campaign management for almost 2 decades full time. Justin got a taste for trading cryptocurrencies, and after extensive research, testing, and hours of actual real trading, designed and developed the Micro Profit System, which has been a resounding success. And I got to tell you one other thing about Justin and how I connected with Justin. So a number of years ago, when I was just first getting started and building my home-based business, I had this lead scraper tool, and I was scraping leads off the internet. And I did a broadcast to a group of people from a network marketing company. And lo and behold, one of the people on this list messaged me back. His name was Doc Fran Clark. And he said, hey, Paul, I'd like to connect with you. And we ended up developing a relationship. He recruited me into his network marketing company and mentored me to my very first 6 figures in network marketing. And that's actually how I met Justin. And over the years, I've watched Justin and he's watched me a little bit. And it's just been so cool to see him go on and have phenomenal success in everything that he's doing. And so I'm so excited about today's interview. Let me bring Mr. Justin out. How you doing today, Justin?
Hey, Paul, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is great, man. Awesome.
How's life in Florida? You're in Florida, is that right? Clearwater
Yes,
still?
yeah, Florida, the state where when you first come to the state, they issue you your standard pair of flip flops. I don't know.
I watch it. My wife and I watch Bird Notice on Netflix, and I'm always just so jealous of Florida and the lifestyle. And I'm like, man, I miss that. Awesome. Well, thanks again for being here. We're going to be talking about Justin's story. We're going to be talking about crypto, and really part of my goal today, in addition to hearing Justin's story and picking his brain on, marketing and online stuff, and his experience, his successful journey, I really want to do the best that we can to give a good introduction to cryptocurrency, both for myself and other people. I actually right now am not in the cryptocurrency game. I've stayed out of it. It's come across my path so many times, and I've resisted, right? But one of the things I've noticed, Justin, is people that I know, like my friends who have never had anything to do with anything home-based business, network marketing, business opportunity, they're bringing it up and they're in it. And I have a friend who's a traditional business owner here in my hometown, and he called me the other day. He's like, yeah, I'm looking to, build some crypto mining servers, so this is really kind of infiltrating the mainstream. So this is going to be good. I'm excited. Justin, I want to know, and our viewers want to know, who are you, man? What's your story? Tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, it's interesting. You mentioned my dad, Doc Fran, yeah, he was in the home-based business network marketing industry for decades, and he kind of brought me up with that entrepreneurial can-do kind of spirit in my life. That whatever I set my mind to, I could accomplish. And so he was actually, the individual who introduced me to network marketing and in the idea of alternative ways to earn a living. So that's where I got, kind of my start. And really in my late 20s was the first time that I had my first real success in network marketing and took it really seriously. And worked with him and also my wife at the time. We were, working together day in, day out, building our network marketing business. And that was fun. And so that kind of led me on a journey. As you know, you've participated in a couple different companies. You've had some great learning experiences and some not so great learning experiences in this industry. And from I'd say back in when I was about 26, up through, geez, I think it was about 2007, 2008, we were pretty hot and heavy in network marketing. And then I found affiliate marketing because of doing online marketing for my network marketing company. I translated that into some tremendous success in affiliate marketing for a number of years. Then that changed in about 2013. All sorts of things happened with online marketing and in the space I was working in. And then I got kind of back into network marketing, doing some affiliate marketing, network marketing. And then I had that friend who his name is Paul D'Souza. He's the CEO of IcoinPro. He's a co-founder of the company with me. And we actually met each other in 2013. Paul, I don't know if you know that, but we've known each other for a long time now. And he was that friend who kept telling me about Bitcoin. And he was the smartest guy in the room. He was taking Bitcoin into his advertising business very early on when it was hundreds of dollars, getting people to pay him in Bitcoin, and was a strong believer in Bitcoin, in cryptocurrency. And that's how I discovered it. But again, I had the message come at me so many times, Paul, before I listened. He kept telling me. And then we had a mutual friend who in 2017 started buying up all sorts of Bitcoin, who's extremely successful. And that's when my interest, like early 2017 is when I was like, you know what, I really need to start paying attention to this.
Awesome. I love it. I want to jump back real quick. So your dad was a surgeon, is that right?
Well, he
Or
was a dental surgeon.
dental
Yes, he was a
surgeon.
prosthodontist. Yep. So he would do dental surgery, facial reconstruction, and all that sort of fun stuff.
So was he doing network marketing clear back as far as you remember?
Oh, forever. Yes, I can remember all the way back into the 80s. I mean, he was doing the fuel additives when they first came out, Mixigo, all these different companies. He always had something going on outside of his practice. And honestly, he had, his practice was a tough business. They had to make a lot of money per month before they even saw a dollar of that money. And so network marketing actually provided him with incredible income, even out earning his practice, which is amazing. I don't think a lot of people understand that and appreciate the power of the industry and what you can do.
Was he always successful in network marketing as far as you can remember from a young child?
Yes and no. I mean, it had its ups and downs, and there's a lot of good, bad, and the ugly in network marketing, and he experienced all of it over his journey. But his biggest success, was definitely in a company where it was an anti-aging nutritional products. He built an organization over 300,000 customers and representatives in that company. And so it was a huge success. But again, Paul, over time, that company slowly faded. The big checks turned into smaller checks, smaller checks. It stopped, basically was just paying for his product after a couple decades. And then the company became an affiliate offer and a lot of network marketing companies. So,
And that was from like $1 million a year income, right? If I remember correctly.
I'm not sure how high up it got at the time, but it was significant.
It's significant.
It was, yes, it was pretty incredible. And, but it is amazing that, that can happen in this industry. And there's a lot of different things. So I think all the skills, if a person wants to succeed online, they should develop all the skills that they can to develop, to create income. My dad used to have a story he used to tell about Fran Tarkenton. They interviewed Fran. They said, Fran, why do you have so many different, he was a successful businessman. He said, you have 12, different ways that you earn money in life. Why do you have so many different ways? He says, because if one of them dries up, I still have 11.
And he was a former pro football player, right? Fran Tarkenton. Yeah.
Yep.
So cool. Awesome. All right, cool, man. Well, let's, I'm curious, you have how many kids? Just,
We have
side note,
We have two.
You've got Jonah and
Yes. And you have how many kids, Paul?
I got four boys.
Got 4. Yeah. So we did 2 and we did 16 and 5. That's their ages, right? Actually, I'm sorry, 17. Our older son just had his birthday, just on the 16th. So 17 and 5 years old. So we just spaced them out a little bit.
I like it. And they're both boys, right?
Yes, 2 boys. Yep.
Very cool. You like being a dad?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Best thing in the world. Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, brother. Well, let's go ahead and dig into the
Well,
crypto stuff. What's that?
could you imagine if I answered that question differently? Do you like
Yeah, we
no, man.
in any public facing marketing communication, we never want to tell the truth, right? I'm just kidding. No, being a dad is like you said, it's one of the coolest things ever, and it's also one of the hardest things ever.
Oh,
Honestly,
absolutely.
I mean, it's challenging, but it's very rewarding. So,
It is very rewarding and it's fun. And I mean, yeah, but it's a 24/7 commitment and that's what we sign on for.
yep, amen to that.
Yep.
Okay, so let's jump into some questions. What is crypto, and can you explain it to me like I'm a 5-year old?
Yes. The easiest way to explain it is it's digital money. That's what it is. I think where people, uh, you know, don't understand how it works is with how it fluctuates in its value, right? They're used to a dollar is a dollar, but really a dollar isn't a dollar. People don't understand the foreign exchange currency markets and how the value of the dollar can actually change, even though it's pretty, consistent as far as when you're out there, and you're buying, different things. But cryptocurrency is a little bit more raw because it's new. And those values of those coins can fluctuate tremendously. All right. But really, in essence, what it is it's digital money. It's a way that you can send and receive value online. And there are a couple of different benefits to it, which I think are important to point out. One of the things about cryptocurrency is you can't fake it. That's one of the biggest benefits because of the security around it. You can't fake a Bitcoin. This network is spread out all around the world, right? So all of these different computers have to verify that you have that Bitcoin, right? And that it's real. So if one of them says, "Hey, this isn't correct," or, the network realizes it, it just makes it almost virtually impossible to fake or forge cryptocurrency. The other thing is that it's for some of the coins, it's relatively low cost to send it compared to traditional ways of wiring money to other people. And some people, get excited about the privacy aspect of it. I don't know. I could care less, right? Like I'm kind of an open book. A lot of people, I don't think that's like a super concern for them, but there is the privacy aspect of being able to send and receive money, but also there is a lot that's visible on the what they call the blockchain, which is the blockchain is the network of computers that basically host the cryptocurrency, keep it alive, and keep it moving basically on the network.
Okay, and that's distributed at across many computers all over the world. The
Yes.
blockchain itself.
Yes.
And that's like the file system or verification system that
Correct.
stores an exact record replicated many, 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 many times all throughout the world, which is what makes it incorruptible, I guess you could say.
Exactly. And there's a lot of different applications of it. And honestly, Paul is like the expert on like the blockchain and its uses and the future. I mean, he is a dyed in the wall hardcore cryptocurrency, enthusiast. But there are a lot of different applications. And one of the things that I think is important for people to understand is there's a difference between blockchain and cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is something that is created using this technology, which is called the blockchain. But people are using blockchain for other things, tracking packages. It's a way to distribute and verify information in a way that doesn't make it centralized and doesn't make it reliant on one particular point. So anyway, blockchain's a technology you'll hear about is going to be used in various different industries as it evolves. But cryptocurrency is one aspect of blockchain, if you will.
Okay, cool. I was going to ask you this later, but I'll ask it now. You mentioned that cryptocurrency is digital money.
Mhm.
And one difference from the money that we're all used to that pops up in my mind is that, the Constitution says that Congress shall have the power to coin money and no one else. So cryptocurrency obviously is not coined by the government, right? It's created privately. How do you see that relationship interplaying, the government's control versus people, using their own form of exchange now and in the future?
I am by no means an expert on how that's all going to play out, but I do know that, acceptance is at an all-time high for it. I feel in a way that Bitcoin is getting past kind of the fledgling. Hey, is this thing going to make it? Is it going to stay around? Is it going to go to zero one day? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? That
right.
kind of phase, we're getting past that. It's maturing. But again, it honestly, in a lot of ways, currency is kind of the wrong word for it. It is a digital asset, if you will. It's more like digital gold when you talk about Bitcoin, meaning that it stores value or potential value. But Bitcoin itself, I mean, with the fees that there are to send Bitcoin, send and receive it, I couldn't use it as a currency. You can't buy a cup of coffee with Bitcoin because of the
Mm.
fact that it costs, X amount to send it, which would then offset the value. It'd be like buying a cup of coffee and then it's like goes from a buck 50 to $5 to use Bitcoin. You see what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
practical, but it is an excellent store of value and it is a digital asset. And the U.S. government at least views it as that. It views it as a digital asset for taxation purposes and stuff like that, not so much as a currency.
So if it doesn't have a lot of value as a currency, where is I'm just curious, where's the inherent value in it? Like, why is it a store of value? Why do people believe that they should own it and
Be-
therefore trade it with others?
yeah, again, it's like anything else that people assign value to. There's a certain one thing that's kind of the beauty of Bitcoin is that it has a limited supply that will
Mm.
always be limited. There's 21 million Bitcoins. Some of them have been totally lost, right? I don't know the current circulating supply of Bitcoin, but there is an inherent scarcity to it. And it is a thing. It was the hardest thing for me to get my head wrapped around because it's like, hey, what are we buying air here? I think everybody has that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then you got people spending millions of dollars on digital, they're called NFTs, which are like these
Hmm.
little pictures that you could right click and save, but they spend all this money because it is a thing. There is only really one of it in the digital universe. And the digital universe, the matrix, I like to call it, people consider as real. I mean, they sell virtual properties in video games. They buy skins in games. They do all these different things. They Why do these things have value? Because people say that they have value. But one of the things that I love about cryptocurrency, what attracted me to it, Paul, was obviously the trading aspect of it
Hmm.
because of how the markets move. When I initially was introduced, I was like, yeah, this is cool and all. I'm not sure how this is all going to work out, whether Bitcoin will be the best crypto or there could be other ones that are smoother and lower transaction fees and stuff like that. But this is a market that is highly tradable, and that's awesome.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. So opportunity, right?
Yes.
Arbitrage for entrepreneurs who have eyes to see.
Yeah.
Um, one other question regarding the scarcity of crypto. Is it just Bitcoin that has a limit, or do all cryptocurrencies have a limit?
Every crypto has their own um, way that they're established. So some of them may be finite, meaning that there's an exact amount of them that will ever be mined, released or minted or created. And then some, I believe, like Doge, is one that there is not a finite supply, and more can be created.
Okay.
Every point kind of has its own protocol, what it wants to follow. But a
Okay.
lot of them, I think a lot of the value is for the bigger coins is the reality that there is a set finite amount and it will never be more than that. So it creates that scarcity, which then gets people excited and they want to have one.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Are there crypto scams, especially in the home business space? And
Yeah.
if so, how do you spot and avoid those?
Um, yeah, there are plenty. Obviously, as a U.S. resident, if the company doesn't operate in the U.S. or you have to access it through like a VPN or something like that, please be cautious. Okay. Um, they're definitely, they've kind of chilled out a bit. There are not as many scams I see, but in 2017, they were rampant. And any of these things where they say, oh, you're going to earn, 1% a day on
Mm.
it, or, we're going to double your money every 30 days or whatever. Just get your calculator out. That's your best defense against any type of scheme. Get your calculator out, do the math over 2 years. And you'll be like, wait a second, I'm going to turn $100 into $1 billion in 2 years. It's like, come on. Just-
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll get to a little bit more about your company, but one of the things that's obvious about your company is you're not selling crypto. You're selling training and coaching that teaches people how to trade, and that obviously is a legitimate product.
yes.
But if there's people out there saying, hey, join and buy all this crypto, and then get others to buy this crypto, and then we're going to put that in a compensation plan, does that sound off a little bit?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of red flags there for sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Very cool. And you touched on this earlier. Do you buy anything with crypto right now? You don't. You just mainly trade. Are there?
I am just a pure trader. I actually just one of the neat things about the cryptocurrency markets is you can trade in US dollar. Um, so I trade in US dollar, I buy a cryptocurrency, I increase how much I have, and then I sell it. So buy low, sell high is the basics of any trading, basics of what we do. But what's interesting is, and I give this as a good example. Like in September 2019, Paul, I moved over to Coinbase Pro, which is the biggest exchange in the United States for trading cryptocurrency. And I keep this comparison just so I can see how I'm doing, right? With my personal trading. And if I had walked into Coinbase Pro in September of 2019 and just purchased Bitcoin with all my money, just dumped it all in, I would have been up over 320% on my investment, which would be incredible, right? I mean, anybody be happy with that. What's neat is with trading with the micro profit system, I'm up over 508%. So I've actually helped perform Bitcoin on one of the most crazy bull runs that it's had. And what's neat is my system, we do better when the market goes down. So I'm happy how well we did as the market was going up. But when we go down, Bitcoin's number could keep dropping and dropping. Mine will keep increasing.
Mm.
That's the beauty of trading. But trading is, I don't know. Have you ever tried any type of trading, Forex, anything like
Yeah, we did some forex and had a not so great experience. Saw a lot of cash evaporate very very quickly.
that?
So
Forex, with a lot of markets, the challenge is, particularly like Forex, it might move like 0.3% or extremely small amounts, right? So they teach you to do what's called leverage trading, right? Which is
right,
borrowing money in excess of what you have.
right.
Um, and so it sounds great because if, like, say you're 5x leverage or 10x leverage, let's say you're 10x leverage, right? So if you make 1%, it's like making 10%, right? That sounds awesome. But the flip side is if you lose 1%, it's like losing 10%. So it's
Mm.
magnifying the results. And that's why you hear a lot of people who get involved in Forex and in other types of trading, they blow out their account, right? So
Right.
what happens is your 10x leverage, your account moves down 10%. You lose 10% on a trade. Guess what? You just lost 100% of what you put into that trade.
Yeah.
So I don't teach leverage trading. I never will because I feel it's too risky for
Yeah.
the person. And the beauty of the cryptocurrency markets is that they move so well, we don't need it. These
Mm.
things can move tremendously. And we kind of know the sweet spot of what coins to hit with like our software and stuff that are going to give you the biggest bang for your buck, the best potential return during that time. I do need to do just a quick disclaimer here, Paul, because I'm talking a little bit about my results and everything. I hope you
Sure.
just
Yeah. Please. Please. Yeah.
because I want to make sure people understand there is always risk in trading. It is not just a walk in the park. There's stress sometimes, everything like that. But when you get a good system and you follow it, it can be tremendously productive and awesome for you, but there's always risk. So I just want to say this: IcoinPro, the IcoinPro Trade Finder, and its trainers, we provide an informational service only and are not responsible for any investments made applying this information. The results described are not typical and are not guarantees of future income. Any investment contains risk and is 100% the responsibility of the investor to assess the risk rewards involved. It is possible to lose some or all of your investment. We assume no liability assumed or implied for your application of the information shared from the trading program. So
It's not it.
that's fair.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. I want to dig into a little bit more about trading and your process, but I also want to know, how liquid is crypto? Is it very liquid? You
Ye-
get your money in, get your money out whenever you want.
Yes. It is very liquid, and is increasing in liquidity. Even compared to when I moved over in 2019 to Coinbase Pro, Coinbase Pro was doing a lot less in 24-hour volume. Now they're moving billions. I mean, it's fantastic. I get nowhere near the foreign exchange, the forex markets, which are moving trillions per day. We're talking in the billions. With cryptocurrency. But yes, there is great liquidity. I have no problems trading on Coinbase Pro, even with a sizable, position size in each of my trades. You can get in and out. But again, it's like anything else. There are moments where there is more liquidity when the market starts to move more dramatically. Um, and that's part of what I teach, is how to plug into those moments when the liquidity is really at its peak on the sell side and then becomes higher on the buy side when you need it the most. So, yep.
But up to this point, you've never had a problem where you bought some crypto and then you're like, I want to get my cash dollars back out, and you
Oh,
haven't
no,
been able to get
I
it.
have, trust me, learning how to trade and developing the micro profit system, I have died 1,000 deaths to create this system. There was one trade that led to what we call the buddy coin system, which I had a ton of money in a particular little coin that really nobody was trading. The liquidity became extremely thin. To get out of this trade, I would have lost over 10% on the trade just to sell it, to want to get out of it. Oh gosh, I ended up bleeding out on that trade till I finally was like, look, I think I took a 30-40% loss on that trade. It was painful, but it taught me a valuable lesson. And it taught me to stay where the party is, stay with the high value, high moving coins, the ones that everybody is trading, and don't try to anticipate, react. I'm a martial artist. I have 3 black belts. And one of the things I learned in good sparring is reactive, right? You let your opponent make the move and then you react. Well, the way that I trade is I don't try to predict these markets. I don't try to tell you where Bitcoin's going to be in 3 months, 2 months, 1 week, tomorrow. I don't try to tell you. I react when the market makes this decision and makes a move. And then we have a very specific way that we trade it. So, yes, liquidity is important. You can get stuck in coins if you are trading on coins where there is no value, no movement. You can have issues, but we actually have software. It's called Buddy Coin Crawler. And every morning we all hit it, all our traders. And it says, this is the coin today that you want to trade that is going to give you the best bang for your buck, the biggest potential return. And it's amazing, Paul, like the crypto markets it moves like lemmings. Okay. When Bitcoin goes up, everything goes up. When Bitcoin goes down, everything goes down, almost without exception. Okay. Almost without exception. So, but the thing that we found is that Bitcoin may move like 1%, on, say, we have a trade that we do called the dip trade. It's when it dips, when things go down. You hear buy the dip, buy the dip.
Mhm.
When do you buy it? I bought the dip. I kept buying the dip. It kept dipping. We know we have a very specific way we do it. But when Bitcoin dips, it might have a potential profit of say 1% on that trade, because it doesn't move a lot sometimes, right? But there may be what's called an altcoin, which is an alternative coin, which is another coin in the cryptocurrency space that on that exact same trade at that exact same moment, you could only made maybe 1% potentially on Bitcoin. Well, on this, you might be able to make 5% or 10%, right? So you can literally, for the same amount of work, because when Bitcoin goes, pearl, that altcoin is also going to go, pearl. Well, do you want to make 5 to 10x the amount potentially for the same amount of work? Or do you want to trade a coin which is not even moving? There's not much going on. So we know how to find those sweet spots and stuff like that. And that's part of how our system, how we can outperform, what Bitcoin's doing over the long term, because we're on the coin where the party is, where the high movement is, and trading that and not getting stuck in little itty bitty coins with no liquidity in them.
Mm. So your indicators, I'm just in obviously, proprietary, you don't have to dig too deep, but I'm just wondering like, are you looking for news reports? Are you just watching the trend of the market? What's happening? Like, and how reliable are these indicators?
Sure. The system is extremely reliable. I mean, we have traders who run, uh, you know, virtually lossless strategies. I mean, we're talking 1, 2, 3 losses maybe in a year of trading. So the, and we're creating actually case studies with this. We have a tool we're actually creating for Coinbase Pro right now, so we can document, some of these, our traders and their results over protracted periods of time. We're talking years. You hear these Forex guys, they jump on, they go like, man, I smashed it out. Last week I killed it at Forex markets. I'm like, well,
Right.
what about next week? What about the next week? What about 6 months from now? You don't,
Right.
you're
What
trading
about that day where you lost it all? Yeah.
exactly, and that's one of the challenges. We have been, we've had people actively using the system now for years. I mean, over 4 years, trading with the system with success, consistent, continual returns over and over again. But you mentioned the news. We trade in a bubble. I really don't pay attention to the news. Okay. Because I don't want it to influence what I'm doing. I'm a strictly technical trader, meaning that I'm looking at that chart and I know with almost, almost 100% certainty that when a certain pattern develops, what's going to happen in the next half hour, hour and a half. Like I know
Mm.
that's my life, right? Like right before we jumped on here, I just completed a trade and made $200 right before we jumped on this Zoom. That trade took me all of about 15 minutes. Okay. And it's because I know exactly what I'm looking for. I only trade when I see exactly what I want. All right. And, I'm in that trade and I'm not looking to hold it for the day or hour. It's so rare that a trade that I do takes more than an hour and a half. That's extremely rare. So I live in that small window of where the technical just tells me exactly what's potentially going to happen.
Mm.
And I'm not trying to predict further than that.
Mm.
And that's just how we trade. One of the things I learned in trading, a lot of people, they want to hit those home runs. They want that coin that's going to go up 1,200%, and stuff like that. And one of the worst things that can happen to, I think, people who are trying to trade is that they get one of those coins. And I'll tell you why, because then they try and do it again, Paul.
Mm.
And then the next one, they end up losing half of what they made on the previous coin. And then they try and do it again. And then they lose another 60%, and they hold on to it too long. So what I found works for a professional trader, somebody who, if you want to do this for a living, if you want to pay your bills with it, as a career path, micro profits. You make a small profit and compound your money. Small
Mm.
profit, compound your money. And keep doing that over and over and over again. It keeps you safer, keeps you out of the market when the market goes nuts, and dumps. And so you're in there ready to profit. Like May 19th, most of the coins dropped 40, 50% in the space of no time. I mean, we're talking minutes, hours. Just the market just obliterated itself. Our traders were killing it on that day. Because of how we trade. They're going in and out, multiple times. Yesterday, there was quite a few dips. I made over $2,600 while the market all just went down, in a day. trading with the system. And a lot of people sold and lost money, or you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
again, it's all about how uh, uh, you trade, and how you approach it. But again, we're just getting in and out quickly, multiple times, sometimes in a day, and we're not trying to stay in anything too long. Where you can really, if you catch it at the wrong time and you hold on to something in crypto, it can go down 85, 90, 95, 99%. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
It can be brutal.
So with your company, are you teaching people how to read the charts like you're talking about, or are you doing any mirroring trading or giving them indicators? None of that.
No, no mirror trading. That is a legal gray area, I feel. So we don't
Mm,
touch that. Uh,
okay.
what we do is we just teach people how to trade on their own, and we provide signals, software, which shows them potential trades. Um, but we are empowering people with a skill here. We're not saying, "Hey, follow the leader, follow this guru." No, you are the guru. You learn it yourself. You learn the skill. It is a lot of people, I describe it this way. We have a lot more customers that come into our company than affiliates or reps,
Hmm.
because the emphasis is on what we do is trading. We have a lot of families who trade together, and they teach their kids as their career path. My son will be a crypto day trader as his first career. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what he's going to
Hmm.
do. And that will give him flexibility and freedom to do whatever he wants in life. Um, yeah, it's definitely, it's a potential career path. It's not just some biz op, if you will.
Yeah.
It is a potential career path that people can follow, but it takes some study, some learning, some practice. Okay. But we have a great community. We have so many full-time traders now worldwide. They've been doing this for years. They're so helpful. They're just, it's such a great group of people. And we're changing people's lives. I had a guy message me from, South Africa, the other day, and telling me in his first $1,000 day, he's been trading for 21 months and just did over $1,600 in a single day trade.
That's awesome.
But he didn't start with a lot of money. He started with a small amount and then just followed the system 21 months consistently, small profit, small profit. Now his small profits are becoming big profits because he grew that balance.
Mhm.
He started where he was, and now he is where he's at.
Super cool. And I'm guessing you're not doing any buy and hold long term. You're 100% trading.
Again, that's not part of the micro profit system. Not that our
Right.
traders don't do that from time to time, but the micro profit system is pretty, we would rather trade that whole trend rather than buy it and hold it and hope and pray, that
Mm.
it goes up. We'd rather trade the ups and downs, the swings that happen, because there's a lot of profit in there potentially. And Paul, I don't sit at a computer 24/7 and trade. Okay. This morning I traded in the Starbucks parking lot. I traded when I got home.
Yeah, you look like you've had a shower and your hair's, kept. And so, yeah.
So like, yeah, I'm not like, yeah, some bad scientist. You know what I'm saying? Like 24/7 staring at the charts, trying to, this string diagrams and figure out everything. No, our system is like really simple. It's like I get up, I spend 15 minutes in the morning. Look at my buddy coin crawler. I figure out what coins are going to give me the action today. I set some alerts and then I go about my day. If those alerts don't go off, I don't even trade.
Mm.
I'll run around, do whatever, all day long. And then when the trades come up, I go to work. Like yesterday was a work day. I traded multiple times yesterday because that's what the market gave. Right. But there were like 3 or 4 days where I didn't do anything. I just was like, you know, got on the honeydew list and did stuff around the house. That's it.
Uh, yeah, honeydew list. Those are long, and it's a miracle we have any time to do anything in business
Right.
sometimes. Okay, so a couple last questions about your company, and then I'd like to shift gears and ask you
Sure.
some other questions about marketing and personal development stuff, if you're cool with that.
Absolutely.
What's the lowest amount that someone could get started with in a trading account, and the lowest amount of time to actually see decent results if they were consistent?
Well, what's neat about crypto is that the barrier to entry is extremely low. Um, you can start with $100 trading, $100, $200 and start trading. Um, and and you can get great results, doing that. We've had people who started back in 2017. That was all they had. They skipped
Mm.
night for a couple nights to put that $100 and went on to turn it into a full-time career from that seed money. So again, it's going to take longer. It's going to take patience. 1% of $100 is $1.
Right.
But 1% of 1,000 is 10. 1% of 10,000 is 100. You get how that works, right?
Mhm.
So the bigger the balance, the bigger the profits, the easier it is to hit your level of income that you desire. Okay.
Mm.
Um, but unlike in the traditional markets, like the stock market, there is a rule in the stock market, Paul, that says it's called the pattern day trader rule. And it says that if you execute, I think it's 5 trades within 3 or 4 days where you buy and sell, okay, within 3 or 4 days, they label you as a pattern day trader and they'll suspend your account until you put $25,000 in it.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So in the crypto markets, we can buy and sell all day long and there's no restrictions. You can execute as many
Mm.
trades. So I think it's a great, this really kind of levels the playing field for the average person that they
Yeah.
don't have to have $25,000 to come in and try to day trade. Okay. Which I'm sorry, a lot of people don't have that cash sitting around. So with crypto, they can come in with whatever they've got, and trade with it. Now, I will tell you this, when you start trading, practice trade. You want to practice trade a lot. Then you want to start trading with a small amount, 100, $200, and get consistent handling real money trading. Watch how the numbers work out for you. Okay. And then if you want to, you can go larger, but I always tell traders, once you've made your initial seed money back, you've doubled your balance, take it out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You
Yeah.
actually put in, then you're really playing with house money.
I
Perfect.
love that. That's
Yep.
great advice. Is there, so you have a software that kind of shows people what
Yep.
to see on the charts, and then you also have some training.
Yeah.
Are those the two products you have within your company, or do you have other products as well?
Those are the primary things. And one thing that's nice about what we do is even if you don't even know what Bitcoin is, we have a core series which brings you up to speed on what cryptocurrency is. We actually provide a free trading account so people can go and, Google it or whatever. And, they can get a free trading account where you're going to learn one basic trade that you can actually do and make money with. You're going to get some of the basics on like how to send and receive cryptocurrency, how to buy it, all those sort of things we actually give away in a free trading account people can get.
Mhm.
But then up from there, we, our primary focus is just training and software, but we also have a really vibrant community, which is worth more than
Yeah.
me. We have a forum where people are in every day talking, a chat box, which is 24/7, where pro traders are in there saying, hey, I'm watching this coin or this, this is happening. I do a morning market analysis where I say, here's what we're looking at today. Here's the potential on the upside, downside. If we hit this, be cautious. There's just different things that I just, every day from my experience and from the system, just analyze it and then share it with people so they have a little bit of, potential prediction on what could happen. Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that it's a low barrier to entry. It's one
Yes.
of the things that I like about home business too, is that you don't have to have a ton of money or a ton of success or a big network. Like if you're willing to learn and work, it's like the door is open to everybody. And I love that. And traditionally, I've done some with real estate, and the real estate market has become harder now because of inflation, and the market's nuts and you can't buy cheap stuff like you used to be able to buy. And I think like on your road to freedom, like this question comes up: when should I invest? It's like now. When I was living in a trailer, I bought another trailer as a rental property and I invested along the way. And so I love that this is accessible, for anyone, low barrier to entry, low cost, low time. So if you guys, oh yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, and to that end too, as far as our memberships with our company, we start at $10 a month, 9.95, and if you want the full system, it's $100 a month, 99.95, with all the software, access to the community, the forum, questions, all 9 yards. And I wanted it that way. I
Yeah.
know there are traders who are professionals that will charge you thousands of dollars. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Anyway, exorbitant monthly fees and stuff like that. I wanted this to be something that the average person could get access to. And I mean, $100 is nothing for us. So we have people who make that in one trade. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's
Yeah.
for their memberships, no problem. Once you get the system down, but be ready to study. This is like kind of going uh, I hate to say this, I'm going to say it, a trade school. Really?
Yeah, it's
What,
right.
guys?
No pun intended.
Yeah, I think maybe, but really that's what it's like because what we teach is a skill. It is a potential career path. Anybody can learn it. Anybody can do it. We have people who have, even people who hate math, they can do the Microsoft system and trade for success.
Who hates math? Math is so awesome.
I
Just no, just
you
kidding.
and I are verified error here. There are plenty.
So, let's say someone's watching this and they want to learn more about you guys and your products. What's the best way for them to do that?
They can just, go to icoinpro.com
Okay,
and look there. We also have a Facebook group. I don't know if you want to punch it in. They can go there and get connected with someone there. We have a lot of full-time pro traders. So there are people that, know the system inside and out. They can connect with, or if they have a friend or somebody that referred them to this video, or, you know, uh, I know Mike Hobbs is a member as well. So again, there are a lot of different avenues that they can learn about it. But the best way to start is get a free trading account, which you can get through one of the members, and they'll be able to get you rolling with that.
perfect. Mike says, great info. Been learning this strategy and getting ready to implement soon. So cool. Hey, Mike, good to see you. All right, guys. Well, if for those of you who are listening live, if you have any other crypto specific questions, hit them in the chat and I'll see if we can hit those before we finish. But I want to shift gears here real quick and just ask you some random, just side note questions, right? That I thought of when thinking about you. Do you do marketing now, or are you mainly, because I know when you start a company, like it's so hard to keep marketing and doing that side. Do you do any marketing now?
Not a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I mainly, honestly, my main thing is just trading. And I don't know, in your marketing journey, I think everybody gets to a point where once you become successful, it's like, it- how much do you really want to work and how much do you want to work?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
I am at a point where I trade to live. I don't live to trade. So I work really when the market gets really good and I just hit a couple trades. I might work, I don't know, 10 days out of the month, really. And then obviously I manage the company and stuff like that, but I'm not looking to do anything else. We're killing it. And trading has been amazing as these crypto markets, the volume keeps picking up and everything. So, I mean, yeah, so I'm not doing a lot of other things, but I always keep my ear to the ground on what's happening. I love to hear what other people are doing, because, the most expensive thing you can own is a closed mind, but,
Yeah.
there hasn't been a lot of things that I've seen recently. So I am pretty happy with what I'm doing. And I think, Paul, a lot of the network marketing companies, that are product based and stuff like that, boy, they are just having a challenge with eBay, Amazon, competitive products, all
Mhm.
that sort of stuff. It's wild. It's a tough time out there. So I'm glad to have the skill of crypto day trading. I think everybody should add it to their quiver, no matter what else you're doing in the online space, or even if you're working a job, something that you can do, on your breaks, or, whenever. Everybody should learn how to trade. Absolutely. Hands down.
Cool. Now I know that at some point you had traffic you were selling, and I know you have a lot of experience with traffic. So I just really want to ask, even though you're not doing that now, for anyone out there who might have a business or products and they want to build an online business and they're like, hey, I want to buy some traffic. Like, what would you tell that person?
Well, no, I still do have a traffic company. That's one of the companies I have. That's actually how I met Paul. Paul was actually my traffic provider since 2013,
Uh,
back in the day. So he and I worked together. We built it's igetvisitors.com. And yeah, we've been doing it since 2013. traffic can be really, Paul, there can be a lot of scammy, weird
Yeah.
things that go on. So be very careful about that. I literally, after doing traffic for years, there were two things I used: MLM leads and my company, and that was it.
Cool. And you still have that igetvisitors.com?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So what's cool about that you might, recommend using that for, like what would you say about that?
It's real people, so you're going to know right away whether your website, your lead capture page is any good or it stinks. You know what I'm saying? So, again, with traffic, you have to have a lead capture page. You know this, obviously, from your company. You have to have, good marketing. You have to have a clear, quick message that interests people, and you got to that's unique. And then you got to capture their information right away, and then follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. Fortunate in the follow up. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great advice. What's the most impactful book you've ever read and why?
Um, oh boy, that's a good question. I'm going to go to one of the um, I think probably the classics that everybody has read or heard about at some point. And now, boy, I didn't know you were going to ask me this question. So let's based on this question. And I just got a notification that my mouse is about to die. So
Uh-oh.
I can't exit. I hopefully you can hit the
You're stuck on the podcast forever.
yes.
We're not going to let you leave.
For a long, long time. But Think and Grow Rich, I think, is probably one of the most impactful books that anybody has ever read, because it brought about the secret movement, those concepts. But honestly, a lot of it, if you read, there's another book, which I really, really love. Hold on. Let me look up the exact title so I got it right here in my Audible. I was like, do you read books anymore? I never read books anymore. Listen,
I do. Yeah, I do
I,
still.
The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murray
Mm.
is one of the most interesting and fascinating books. It is also interesting because he points out a lot of the modern seeker movement is rooted in the Bible and the quotes in the Bible, which is actually really fascinating. So, anyway, you can read that over. Power of Your Subconscious Mind is awesome. I'm currently listening to The Decision by Kevin Hart, which is not only absolutely freaking hilarious, it's like a routine, but it is an excellent book, man. He is a great motivational speaker. Yeah, no, it's funny. Curse words drop these. Like if I'm in the car with Noah, I can't put Kevin on, right? And Noah's our 5-year-old. Maybe with the 17-year-old, never. But with the 5-year-old, no, I can't put it on. But Kevin, yeah, it's a great book. The Decision.
Awesome. I'm going to check it out.
That's him queued up.
Personal development, inspiration with laughs along the way.
Oh, dude, it is.
Can't get any better than that.
I was doing my yoga listening to it, and I'm laughing in the middle of my yoga. Breathe.
What's the biggest business challenge you faced in business and how did you overcome it?
Boy, oh boy. Everybody I think to achieve success, you're going to have some issues, and you're going to have some challenges. I remember back it was like 2006, I was getting into online marketing, and trying to figure out how to do search engine marketing. And I ran up a bill of, I think I got close to, or a little bit over $30,000 that I had
Wow.
doing online marketing, trying to sell a healthy coffee product.
A network marketing product.
Yes. And I was getting customers and it was kind of working, but I was kind of, going broke at the same time.
No.
But what was wild is, again, that's why I think one of the most important things that an entrepreneur can learn is to just keep going, because at some point, all of that experience is going to combine with an opportunity, and it will be, your breakthrough moment. And I had my breakthrough moment in 2007. In fact, I went on and ended up paying off all that $30,000 in debt with one opportunity that I hit at the right time with the right skill set. In a month, boom, paid it all off completely. So, again, the potential is always out there as long as you keep moving, as long as you keep, trying, and just follow where you're led. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the biggest things that I've done over the 20 years is just going from one thing to the next, rolling with the punches, good, bad, whatever. You just keep that positive mindset and know the next thing will be there. What you're supposed to do next, just do it. Just jump out of the plane and skydive away.
I love it. Great answer. Great story too. Who's the best mentor you've ever had, and what did they do or teach you that made them such a great mentor?
I would have to say, probably my father, because of the fact that he just instilled in me this mindset that I didn't have to just go get a job and plug in. You know what I'm saying? You think he would encourage me to be a dentist? Honestly, he told me, he's like, man, you don't want to be a dentist. He's like, don't ever do that. Yeah, both of my parents, even when I was 17 years old and I was writing music, and they funded me going out to California, recording a demo tape back when I was 17 with, do you remember Tiffany from back in the day?
Yeah.
Producer produced my demo tape when I was
Oh,
17.
wow.
So it was like, they always had this mindset that you can do it. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to support you in whatever you want to pursue. Um, Kind of glad I didn't go out as a teenager and trying to survive the crazy scene in the 90s in California, but anyway, in LA. But anyway, but that was part of how my parents always were. They always were encouraging and always were encouraging my brother and myself to just pursue our dreams and in whatever we want to do.
I love it. I love it. Your dad is one of my favorite mentors also. And I share things he taught me all the time.
There's a
So
lot of things that I still, yeah, I could hear him say it, different things. I mean, different sayings that he had, stuff like that. I mean, now we were talking about Fran Tarkington. That was one of his
yeah,
every speech practically that he gave. He talked about that.
bye for now. Does that sound familiar? Like I use that after every conference call, after every video. Bye for now. And that's Doc Fran,
Yeah.
inside me. So do you have a favorite quote?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. Hmm. I'll have to think about that one
Okay.
because I do a lot of quotes. I actually come
You
up
do?
with different quotes. Probably one of my favorite quotes, which got a lot of reaction on Facebook one day, it came to me. I said, it was, be so positive that negative people burst into fire in the sunlight. So, you know,
Oh, that's good.
I like,
I love that. Oh, so good. So good. Has spirituality played a role in your business journey? And if so, how?
yeah, absolutely. In fact, business and your success in it, I think, is really a spiritual thing. You know, people who just say, "Oh, business is business," it doesn't matter what I do; it's business. No,
Yeah.
no, I think integrity is everything.
Yeah.
I would never trade my integrity for money, my spirituality for money, uh, because again, at the end of the day, you have to, go to bed with yourself and your thoughts and your decisions. So yeah, spirituality is a huge part. I believe that personal development, spirituality, that sense of, being able to, accomplish anything, in your life is so important. And truly, I think all of the people who achieve, great things or lasting success and stuff like that, there's definitely a spiritual component, to what they do. And
Yeah.
magic happens around them, right? Kind of like magical connections. One thing leads to the next. Like I met Paul in 2013 and he beat me over the head about crypto for a couple years. And then I finally listened at the right moment and then got invested. And then do I have a trading background? No, but I have a very mathematical mind and I study and I stare at charts for thousands of hours to find the handful of things. Trust me, I tried thousands, just tons of different things, right? There are a million different ways you can do things wrong when it comes to trading. And there are a couple of right ways. And that's what we distill, our system down to and what we do. Yep.
Awesome. Great answer. And thank you, by the way, for your integrity, for the way you treat people, for keeping your product costs low so that it's a low barrier to entry when you could charge thousands and thousands of dollars or that type of a thing. I really admire that. So thank you, Justin. And last question, is there anything we missed? Is there anything you'd like to say to the audience? Closing words of inspiration, anything.
No, this has been really awesome, Paul. Thank you for inviting me to come on here and share and making me part of your podcast. This is cool. I'm so glad you're using StreamYard. It's a great platform. Really awesome how it integrates into Facebook and that whole 9 yards. So, but yeah, as far as, for anybody who's out there who's on an entrepreneurial journey, just keep going. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to have challenges that come up. Realize that you can only win or learn. You can never lose. So if you have that mindset, right, that every experience that happens to you is going to educate you in some ways. Sometimes that education will cost you cash. Sometimes that education will cost you experience, stress, and hardship. But whatever it is, it's going to help you learn something that you need to know now, because at some point, all of that's going to come together and you're going to have your breakthrough moment.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. So much gold in this interview. Thank you, Justin. And thanks to all of our live viewers. We've had actually a great crowd here tuning in live. So thank you, everyone. Let's get out there, make it a great day. Go for your dreams. And we'll see you in the next episode of the Paul Hitchings podcast. Take care.
Awesome. Bye, everybody.
Bye for now. To today's episode. I hope this has been a great investment into your better future. To make sure that you don't miss out on future episodes and bonus content, please visit paulhutchings.net and click the podcast link in the menu bar to subscribe. Thanks again for listening, and whatever you do, always go for your dreams. Hey there, my friend. This is Paul Hutchings. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I hope this has been a great investment into your better future. To make sure that you don't miss out on future episodes and bonus content, please visit paulhutchings.net and click the podcast link in the menu bar to subscribe. Thanks again for listening, and whatever you do, always go for your dreams.